The silence after awakening. The Buddha wondered whether the deep Dharma should be spoken. According to the tradition, after the Buddha reached complete awakening beneath the Bodhi tree, he did not immediately go out into the world to teach. After the long night of darkness, his heart had become bright. He had seen the cause of suffering, the ending of suffering, and the path that leads beyond suffering. But the truth he had seen was very deep, subtle, peaceful, and hard to understand. The people of the world were used to desire. They were used to holding on. They were used to seeking pleasure, fearing loss, and believing that what changes could somehow be kept forever. So the Buddha remained in silence. He quietly wondered whether such a deep truth could truly be understood by people still caught in craving, attachment, fear, and confusion. Tonight's story begins after the awakening beneath the Bodhi tree. The long night had passed, and dawn slowly touched the forest. The leaves of the Bodhi tree moved gently in the morning air. The earth was quiet. The sky was soft with early light. The one who had sat beneath the tree as a seeker had now become the Buddha, the awakened one. His mind was no longer pulled by fear, desire, or doubt. His heart rested in a peace that did not depend on anything outside him. Everything had changed, and yet, from the outside, it still looked like one quiet person sitting beneath a tree. Awakening did not become a loud cry. It did not become a proud announcement. It did not immediately become a teaching spoken to the world. Instead, awakening flowed into deeper silence. The Buddha looked again at the Dharma he had realized. All things arise because of causes and conditions. When those causes and conditions fade, those things also fade. Suffering does not appear without reason. It continues through ignorance, craving, clinging, and the mistaken way. The mind holds the world. When that movement is clearly seen, the heart can begin to let go. When the heart lets go, suffering can come to an end. This truth was clear to the Buddha, but it was not simple in the way. Ordinary people usually want truth to be simple. It was not just a comforting idea. It was not a promise that life would give us everything we want. It was not a teaching that told people to hold more tightly to what they loved. It was a path that asked the heart to see deeply. It asked people to look at craving. It asked people to understand impermanence. It asked people to notice how suffering grows when the mind clings to what cannot be kept. The Buddha thought of the world. People love what is pleasant. They avoid what is painful. They chase what seems beautiful. They fear what seems uncertain. They become sad when things change. But they still try to make changing things stay the same. They suffer because of aging, sickness, death, separation, and disappointment, yet they often do not want to look directly at the truth of these things. They want peace, but they also hold tightly to the causes of unrest. They want freedom, but they continue to grasp the very chains that bind the heart. The Buddha saw this clearly. And because he saw clearly, he did not hurry. He did not rush into the world simply because he had found the truth. He did not think, I am awakened, so everyone must listen to me. He did not speak just to be praised. He did not teach just to prove that he was right. Instead, he remained quiet and careful. He wondered whether people could hear the Dharma without turning away. He wondered whether people who were used to desire could understand a path of letting go. He wondered whether people who were used to clinging could receive a teaching that gently loosened the hand. According to the tradition, the Buddha reflected that the Dharma he had seen was deep, peaceful, subtle, and going against the stream of the world. To go with the stream is easy. The stream of the world says, hold on. The stream of the world says, become more. The stream of the world says, protect what is mine. The stream of the world says, chase pleasure and run from pain. But the Dharma goes against that stream. It says, look clearly. It says, understand craving. It says, see impermanence. It says, let the heart be free. This is why the Buddha's silence was not cold. It was not the silence of someone who did not care. It was the silence of deep compassion. He was not refusing the world because he disliked the world. He was quietly considering how a truth so deep could be shared with beings whose eyes were covered by dust. If medicine is too strong for the sick person to receive, it cannot heal. If clear water is offered to someone whose hands are tightly closed, the water cannot be held. If a person has lived in darkness for a long time, sudden bright light can be difficult to bear. The Buddha understood this. He did not want the Dharma to become only beautiful words. He did not want it to pass over people's hearts without helping them. He did not want to speak in a way that would only confuse or frighten those who were already suffering. So he remained silent. In that silence, there was great care. The Buddha was not hiding the truth. He was honoring the weight of it. The Dharma was too precious to be spoken carelessly. It needed to be offered in a way that living beings could receive. It needed to meet people where they were. It needed to become a path, not just a sound. The morning under the Bodhi tree continued quietly. The light slowly spread through the forest. Birds began to move among the branches. The world was beginning another ordinary day. But the Buddha sat with an extraordinary question. There was the deep Dharma he had realized. And there was the world, full of sorrow, desire, fear, and confusion. How could the two be joined? How could a truth beyond ordinary grasping be spoken to minds that were still grasping? How could a path of release be offered to those who did not yet know they were bound? This was the silence after awakening. It was not empty silence. It was full of wisdom. It was full of compassion. It was full of the careful pause before speech becomes a gift. We may also know this kind of silence in a small way. Sometimes we understand something in our own heart, but we cannot speak it right away. Sometimes we want to help someone, but we know that the wrong words may hurt them. Sometimes we see a truth, but we also see that the other person may not be ready to hear it. At such times, silence is not always avoidance. Sometimes silence is patience. Sometimes silence is kindness. Sometimes silence is the space where the right words are slowly born. The Buddha's silence teaches us that truth and compassion must go together. To know something is not enough. We must also ask how it can be shared. We must ask whether our words will heal or only make the wound deeper. We must ask whether we are speaking from pride or from care. The Buddha did not rush to teach because he had nothing to say. He paused because what he had to say was too deep to be spoken lightly. This silence is one of the most beautiful moments after awakening. The Buddha had become free, but he did not turn away from those who were not free. He saw the difficulty of teaching, but he also saw the suffering of living beings. Between those two, he remained quiet. His silence held both wisdom and compassion. It held the depth of the Dharma and the tenderness of a heart that wished not to harm. For us, this story is a gentle reminder. When we find a truth, we do not always need to speak it immediately. When we want to guide someone, we do not need to force the door open. When we see clearly, we can first become still. We can ask whether our words are needed. We can ask whether this is the right time. We can ask whether our speech will truly help. May we learn from the Buddha's silence after awakening. May we speak when speech is kind. May we remain quiet when silence is wiser. And may our words, when they finally come, carry not pride, but compassion. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear about Brahma Sahampati's request. The Buddha was quietly considering whether to remain silent, but Brahma Sahampati came and asked him to teach the Dharma for the sake of the world. I will share the story of that compassionate request in the next story.